Hello, and welcome, my beautiful friends and family, to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about supplements that you use while bodybuilding and trying to put on muscle, and which ones have personally caused me acne in the past, and which ones I had no trouble with at all. Now, I'm just going to cover the most common bodybuilding supplements. By no means am I saying that you need to take these to gain muscle. I am not saying that at all. I'm just saying that these are the ones that throughout all the years of me lifting are the ones that I've seen be used the most commonly, and I've personally have used them in the past and have a yes or no on whether they broke me out personally. This is not science, this is my personal experience with these supplements. Now let's jump into it. Already we've talked way too much before actually getting to the answer, so I'm just going to jump into it right now and give you a yes list and a no list. The list of yeses, the supplements that have broken me out in the past, are creatine, mass gainers, protein, and BCAAs. And then the no list, multivitamins, omega-3s, greens powders, glucosamine chondroitin, which is for your joints, and melatonin and valerian, which is for sleeping. So there's my list. Now we're gonna go down the list and talk about each supplement individually and talk about my personal little short summary of what I experienced when I was taking these supplements. Okay, we're starting with creatine. And creatine, I said, yes, it did break me out. And I wanna mention that creatine did break me out, whereas now it does not break me out, which is kind of a weird thing. And I think that what was happening is, back when I was taking creatine, I was already violating so many other things that were causing me to break out, or at least were getting me close to breaking out, that I think just one extra thing would constantly send me over the tipping board of having new cysts and new acne and stuff. And so the creatine was just the cherry on top that would exacerbate it. Now that I'm not having tons of dairy, I was having a gallon of milk a day and 300 grams of whey protein powder every single day. Now that I'm not doing that kind of stuff, taking creatine doesn't affect me at all. Now the next one is mass gainers, and mass gainers were a huge problem. They were a giant yes. It was a huge reason that I was having acne and cysts, and that was because the mass gainers that I was using were the traditional mass gainers, which are loaded with whey protein. So they would probably have about 40 to 50 grams of whey protein in them, and they would have something like 80 to 150 grams of carbohydrates with a lot of processed sugar, a lot of processed like flavorings and things like that, and that was causing huge cysts on my face. And I was taking probably about 2 to 3 servings of mass gainer a day, so something like 1,200 to 2,000 calories of mass gainer a day. Undoubtedly, if the mass gainer has dairy in it in the form of whey protein or casein protein, it is definitely going to exacerbate your acne if you are someone who's prone to acne. Now moving into the next one, actually, protein, also yes, and protein is in mass gainer. Mass gainer is literally just carbohydrate powders with protein powders. So a protein powder is just the pure protein. And so I was taking whey protein powder in the morning, afternoon, after my workout, etc., and then I was taking casein protein right before I went to bed, because casein, you know, if you're into bodybuilding and you've heard about this before, casein is a slow digesting protein that covers the inside of your stomach, and it takes a while for your stomach to actually break it down. So it's good for before bed, etc. Really overthinking everything. The reason that we don't want to have dairy in our diets is that our body actually reacts to dairy by increasing the amount of mTOR production within our bodies. Now, mTOR is something that, when it is increased past a certain level, will cause a lot of different side effects, a lot of different adverse effects. But for people like you and me who are prone to acne, that is what happens. When you get past a certain level of mTOR, it comes right at your face, whether that's in cysts, blackheads, whiteheads, or whatever form, redness, etc. mTOR is a huge problem, and so taking any servings of dairy causes that mTOR to go up quite a bit, and for me, that was a huge problem. Now, can you still take protein powders, and could you make a mass gainer if you wanted to? Because I know that a lot of us, just don't have time, and the protein is a convenience thing, or you don't have the ability to eat as much food as you want to eventually get to, so you're supplementing via protein powders and mass gainers and stuff, and you don't want to get off them, but you also don't want acne. So what do you do about that? Well, what I did was I figured out that dairy was a huge issue for me, so I moved away from dairy protein powders and moved into the plant-based area. And I started with like hemp protein and unflavored brown rice protein, and those things taste absolutely terrible and the texture is horrible. So I moved through different vegan protein brands until I finally got to the one that I am sponsored with now, which actually is amazing, and they're called Vivo Life. And this company makes all their protein from like really, really good quality sources. There's no artificial flavors, there's no artificial sweeteners, there's no artificial coloring, any of that kind of stuff. stuff. They use really, really high quality plant-based sources for their protein instead of dairy sources, and that is why I personally do not break out from it. So if you're someone who does still want to take protein powder, but you don't want to break out from it, definitely try this out. It's a little bit more expensive than whey because whey is so cheap and so crappy quality. This is really high quality, so this is a bit more expensive, but you can use my discount code, which is in the description below if you guys want to check that out. Moving along. Next up is BCAAs, and when I was taking BCAAs, they were breaking me out. And again, I think BCAAs are one of those other things where it's kind of on the fence for each person, and I think the reason that my BCAAs were breaking me out was because I was already taking so many other supplements and eating so much protein and dairy and just violating, again, so many things that were already going to cause me to have acne, that BCAAs were just more on top of it. And the BCAAs I was getting were like sweetened by like Splenda or sucralose or something like that. It had tons and tons of coloring in it and quite a few like other ingredients that really didn't need to be in there. Okay, pre-workout, yes and no, I said. Some pre-workouts wouldn't break me out, some would. And the ones that would break me out were the ones that had lots of ingredients. They had tons of sweeteners, tons of coloring, really anything that was like super unnatural and had a bunch of stuff that I couldn't pronounce in it. That kind of stuff would break me out. But what I say when I say some pre-workouts wouldn't break me out is sometimes I would either take a very simple pre-workout that just had, you know, like a 3 or 4 ingredient, you know, back, or I would make my own pre-workout. And the way that you can make your own pre-workout is just by making a cup of coffee or however much coffee you want, however strong, light you want it. That's gonna be your caffeine, or you can just take pure caffeine in a powder form or a pill form. And then I would put my own pumping agents into it instead of taking whatever they gave me. So I would put arginine, which is AAKG, which is just amino acids, completely fine, and citrulline malate, and those two in combination would be my nitric oxide precursors that would help me get the pump as I'm going, but then the caffeine from the coffee would be the stimulation. So that was basically what a pre-workout is anyways, is a stimulation and pump. And in this way I was able to see the exact source of the ingredients that I was going to put in my body. Greens powder, no, that one's pretty simple. A greens powder is just dehydrated and dried blended powdered vegetables, so you can get a, you know, a little boost of greens in without having to actually eat that. That never caused me to break out, and it makes sense. It's probably just a bunch of spinach and chlorella and spirulina and all these different veggies and stuff. The next one was glucosamine chondroitin, and a lot of people are probably like, what in the hell is that? That doesn't sound healthy. Well, glucosamine chondroitin is a joint supplement, so it helps with your joint pain. It helps with the health of your joints, especially if you're going through motions and different exercises and stuff that are taxing on your joints. And when I was taking this, I was in the middle of my like really heavy lifting with pretty good form, but sometimes some kind of questionable form, and that would definitely help me with the joint pain. Did it cause me acne? I never noticed it, so this is on the no list. And that brings me to the last supplement of this list, which is melatonin and valerian, two different things. Melatonin is actually produced in your pineal gland. Valerian is a root that comes out of the ground. Both of those things are natural sleep aids. So instead of taking like NyQuil or some sort of sleeping medicine that's actually synthetic and you know, man-made, these are natural forms of helping yourself get to sleep. Basically, it just tells your brain to start the process of like slowing down, relaxing your thought processes, just get ready for bed and get ready to go to sleep. And I still take melatonin. I really, really like it. I've never ever seen any issues with valerian or with melatonin when it comes to acne. So that's my little list. And I also want to just really quickly run through and tell you which ones I am taking now and which ones I'm not. So creatine, yes I am. Mass gainer, no I'm not. Protein, yes I am. BCAAs, here and there I am, mostly for flavor. Multivitamin, yes, but not as much as I used to. Not daily. Every couple of days I'll take multivitamin. B12 I take every couple of days as well. Omega-3s, no, I'm not taking them in a supplement form. Instead I'm getting through like omega seeds and through chia seeds and just all sorts of different seeds. Pre-workout, yes, I am taking it probably about half the time. The other half of the time I'm doing my like coffee mix and stuff. Greens powders, yes, I'm taking it. Glucosamine chondroitin, no, I'm not taking it anymore. Melatonin, valerian, I am. Deep breath. I know that was a lot of words. I know that was a lot of information coming at once. And I know this is a little bit longer video, but I wanted to go through each supplement and explain to you guys, you know, my personal experiences with all this. So I hope this video helps you. I hope it was informational. If any of you watching have any experiences with any supplements that I mentioned or any supplements that I haven't mentioned on whether it did or didn't break you out, I would love for you to leave in the comments, because people who are watching this are already scrolling through the comments looking for different answers and are reading these answers that you guys are leaving there. So that helps out so many more people. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week, CD.
Lift heavy or die MIRIN, motherfucker.
Team Beyond the Week.